Some of the most influential ideas in human history didn't come from massive changes. They came from small shifts. A word translated just slightly off, a meaning assumed instead of examined, and a translation lost in time. Like playing a game of telephone over millennia. Over time, those small shifts begin to shape our entire belief systems. And you may notice how easily something, repeated enough, begins to feel true, even when something deeper is still there, waiting to be seen. Once something is repeated often enough, it stops being questioned. It simply becomes accepted as truth, even if it never fully came from the source. And this is one of those moments, because when you go back to the original language and you allow yourself to slow down and to really take in what's being said, the story becomes much clearer. This isn't a story about woman being created from a lesser part of man. It's a story about humanity being expressed as two equal sides. And this is where the movement from unity into relationship begins to take form. In Genesis 2, the narrative shifts from the broader picture of humanity into something more personal. The human is placed in the garden, and the story begins to focus on identity, on awareness, and on relationships in a deeper way. And the text says that God causes a deep sleep to fall upon the human. And while the human is in that state, something is taken and used to form the woman. Most of us were taught that this was a rib. And, that simple idea has shaped how the story's been understood for generations. When you return to the original Hebrew, the word used is pronounced tsela. And as you hear that, you can simply just set aside what you've been told for just a moment and notice what the word actually means. It doesn't mean rib in the way it's commonly taught to us. It means side. It's used throughout Scripture to describe one side of a structure, a half of something that belongs to a larger whole. Not something small, but something that corresponds, something equal. And when you begin to see it that way, the meaning starts to shift. And instead of the human losing a small part, the text is described as a division. What was once experienced as a unified human is now expressed as two. It's not about removal in a way that creates hierarchy. It's about expression in a way that reveals relationship. And within that, something important becomes very clear. The feminine is not introduced as secondary. She's revealed as the other side of the same life, the same origin, not beneath, not after, alongside. When man sees the woman, he doesn't claim her, he recognizes her. Bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh becomes a statement of shared origin, not ownership. And in that recognition, something new begins. Not separation, but awareness. Not distance, but relationship. And this matters because that interpretation shaped how people understand identity, how they understand value in relationships for generations. And as you begin to see the original meaning, something naturally rebalances. And maybe you can feel it in the way the story settles. Not greater and lesser or two sides. It's same origin, shared expression, and from that place, relationship becomes something chosen, something lived and experienced rather than something defined by imbalance. This was never a story about something being taken and made less. It was a story about something whole being revealed in two forms. Two sides, one origin, recognizing itself. And as that recognition deepens, it opens the door to something that comes next. Awareness. One love, y'all.